So yeah, let's get started. So this will be recorded. So if you don't want to be on the video, please turn your cameras off if you haven't already. Okay, so yeah, I'm Liv and I'm Vice President of Student Experience. We've also got Ray and Dom, who are the Student Activities Managers here, as well as Jack, who is the Activities Coordinator, and Raquel, who's the Volunteering Coordinator. Okay, so yeah, today we're just going to go through step by step the standards application form. Some of you might recognise it, but there have been some changes, obviously, because it's not a very normal year, and some updates on volunteering week and some general things that will be coming up this term. And then we'll end with a Q&A. But like I said, you can ask them in the chat as we go through. Okay, so how the scoring works. So in each section, you'll see there's bronze, silver and gold. And that's to do with the standard that you would receive at the end, but you don't need to get all gold to have gold overall. It's on an average system. So just obviously do your best to get the highest in each category, and that's how it will average out. So you can see each bronze level is 100, and then you just need 800 to get bronze overall. So yeah, so you don't need all bronze, and you can get silver, and then you can get gold, but you don't need to get all silver. So yeah. And then, yep, so this is the first page that you'll see on the standards form, and this is just about filling in all your committee exec positions, so just the person's name and email. Obviously, you will need all bronze, as they're the core officers, so that's what you need to operate your club or society. And then you may have slightly different titles, but you can fill them in the best that fit. I know definitely around communication, some people call them publicity officers, so it's just which suits. And yep, so silver and gold contain these roles, as well as alumni and other things. The core 5 can be held between 3 people, so you can be multiple roles. You just need to have separate people being president and vice president, I believe. This will be uploaded on the website on the activities help page. And yeah, I think that's everything for this role, but obviously we've got COVID officers, which are new, though I know some people sit as COVID officer and something else. But if you haven't had these positions filled, I would recommend doing it as soon as.
Cool. I think, yeah, so the next one, yeah, is volunteering criteria. Again, really simple one. You need to just have 2 volunteering events to get bronze, 4 for silver and 5 for gold. As it says on the end there, 3 or more people must take part in the volunteering event for it to be valid. Otherwise, we could just have people kind of doing a bit of litter picking around their area and saying they did it for the society, which, I mean, would be great. But that's kind of why we had that little caveat there. And we also have volunteering week on the 8th to the 14th of February, and that will provide some really, really good opportunities for you guys to all get involved in volunteering and get all these things ticked off. And I'm just going to hand over to Raquel quickly from volunteering, or who knows a bit more about volunteering anyway, and she'll be able to run you through some stuff about that week.
Thank you, Jack. Student Volunteering Week is coming up. It runs from the 8th to the 14th of February, and some of you might already know about it, but some of you might not have heard about it. And basically, it's a nationwide thing that happens. Every university takes part in it, and it is showcasing volunteering and encouraging students to volunteer, putting on as many new volunteering opportunities as possible just for this week. So obviously this year it's going to have to be online, like everything else. And B team is looking for people to, well, students to put on workshops via Zoom. So basically what we're looking for is people who want to put on a workshop. The idea is that you're putting on a workshop which is teaching other students something that's useful. For example, we have our art club project are going to be running a workshop on like art at home, how to do basic art at home. We have the teaching assistants, which are going to be running a workshop on how to engage and teach young children. So these are some sort of ideas of what we've got going on. But if any of you guys as societies can think of a workshop / webinar that you would like to put on, then please let us know. There is a type form that's going to be sent out, type form that you can fill in and tell us what you're interested in. If you have any questions, email us at bteam@Essex and we can answer questions. But we are really excited to hear back from societies and see what ideas you have.
Thank you.
Sorry, Jack, one more thing.
Go for it.
We are accepting videos of, it's kind of a video celebrating volunteering. So if you have a really pleasant story about volunteering during a pandemic that you want to talk about, this can be, I had a really nice time going shopping for my neighbor or something like that, that you want to talk about and make a video on, then we are also accepting that, because we want to be showcasing this throughout this Student Volunteering Week. Done, Jack, sorry.
Cool, thank you very much. Yeah, so as we said before as well, the presentation will be uploaded to the website as well. So you can go on them, download them, and then click the links that are on here as well. So kind of staying on volunteering. So the next one is executive volunteering log criteria. So that's for you guys. So it's another really simple one. So according to obviously the picture that's on the right hand side there, a certain percentage of your executive team need to activate your account on GradIntel and log, as I said, the stated amount of hours for bronze, silver or gold to achieve that standard in this certain criteria. So for example, an exec team of 8 would need only 2 of your members to create a profile or to activate your account and log just 5 hours of volunteering in order to get bronze. So that, you know, is as it says in the next example, this meeting will be about an hour long. So if you've got an exec team of 8, just 2 of you can activate your account and put that down, and that will be a 1/5 of your total already needed to get bronze. So it's really, really simple. Yeah, so through that link is the meeting that we had just before we went for the winter break. And there's loads of examples in there of other things that you can do to get your volunteering criteria. So again, it can be something, it can be like having your weekly meetings, which there's also another bit of criteria for later on. So you can have kind of 2 in 1, because volunteering for your society or your club counts as exec volunteering hours. So you can submit it for 2 things at once. We won't watch the video because we've seen it before. I'm sure a lot of you will have seen it in a presentation that we did before, but it's just the link again here about how to log your hours. So it's, if you've created your account or if you've activated your account on GradIntel, then this link will just show you what you need to do after this, after you then log in to be able to log your hours. So the next one is fundraising criteria. It doesn't mean necessarily that you've got to fundraise for other charities. However, that total can also be included, but it can include money that's raised for your club or your society through, as it says, quiz nights, like cook-along type things that we've seen some cultural societies do. Ticketed events. So we have, you know, Yoga and Meditation Society. They do weekly yoga sessions, and they sell tickets through their website for that. So that's an example of something that you can use for the fundraising element. For clubs and societies who charge a membership fee, you can have 50% of your total membership sales can contribute to your fundraising total, so your final total that you put on the application form. And obviously we've got 200 for bronze, 500 for silver and 800 for gold. The totals that you put down, so they will include all the money that you've raised before any tax is paid, so you don't have to worry about working out anything about tax. If you raise £300 from a quiz, then you will include the whole £300 as part of your application. You don't have to deduct tax, even if you have to deduct tax in terms of what actually goes into your account. You haven't got to worry about any of that. So it's really simple. So to look at anything that you have sold through the website, so this will include your memberships, tickets for a quiz, anything kind of like that. Then these are the steps on the screen here that you need to do. So if you ever need to have a look at them, then I just suggest downloading this presentation from wherever. We'll send you all an email to say where you'll be able to find it. Then you just need to follow these steps. So this is what you do when you go to your society page on the essexstudent.com page. If you don't get the page admin bit that it says there in the top right corner, then it'll be that because you haven't because we haven't applied admin rights to you, and that's either because we haven't got around to applying it yet, or either we can't apply it yet because you haven't got your society or your club membership. We do sort of periodic checks so that we can give admin rights to those who haven't yet been given them. So it might just be that you've bought your membership since the last time we checked and we haven't got around to it, but you can always just send us an email through Blades@Essex or Socks@Essex just to let us know that you need that updating, and we'll get around to doing that for you. Cool, pass you back to Liv.
So yeah, this is for committee meetings. So you'll need to add the dates. You'll need 7 for gold, and you just need 4 to get your bronze completed. And you need a minimum of 3 execs to have attended. So even if you've got a really large exec, you just still need 3. So it's really easy one to achieve gold in, especially when you break it down across the year. So yeah, these could be just catch-up meetings. I know a lot of club societies have almost weekly or bi-weekly meetings. So just adding, the dates and the catch-ups in there. And yeah, they can be, it doesn't have to be a specific length, but just making sure that you're catching up and communicating. And yeah, so your secretary, or I think sometimes vice presidents, will keep the minutes of this. And you can upload them onto the website when you've got your admin rights. And yeah, because obviously we're not in person, this counts as Zoom meetings and catch-ups as well. So this all goes towards your committee meetings criteria. Okay, and the next is all of the formal document side. So a lot of this stuff you may have already done. If you haven't yet finished it all, I'd recommend doing it as soon as, or before you hand in the forms. But this would be compulsory documents like your social media charter, your alcohol policy, or your code of conduct, etc. And these will all be sent to you by the end of February. And the society documents are on the link, so when you see the slides afterwards, the link will just work there. And they must be returned in order for you to have completed this section. So if you're not sure, we're happy to answer this. And one section that you may not have completed is the active bystander intervention sessions, to which Vinosh, who's VP Welfare, and I are currently working on finding some slots available, and we'll make sure that's all coordinated out. I'd recommend, if you're on the Facebook SU activities page, of checking on that, because we'll put in some options of times just to make sure most of you will be able to attend, and give different options, because I know timetables are often busy. And yeah, I think that's the big areas there, but we've got all the resources online of each of the things that you need to complete. They'll all be under the documents page on the website. And then the last one would just be handovers, which will come after you've elected your new exec for next academic year. And we'll give some more support further down the line, but do start thinking of this around who's going to be your new exec, but also the handovers, and making sure you're giving information on things you've learned this year, but also stuff you would have received in your handover in a maybe more normal year as we move out of this pandemic. So that's the main bits on the organisation criteria. And yeah, this is also me, but social events. So these can all be done via Zoom. I know it's probably been less social events, we've not been able to be in person, which I know is a massive shame, but it's 8 for a gold, 4 for silver, and yeah, it's just up to 3 for bronze. And again, you'll need 3 members to attend, so it doesn't have to be your exec, it could just be members of your club or society. And you'll just need the event name and the date that it took place. Obviously, these could be via Zoom and could be anything from a quiz or a Netflix watch party, just catching up. And yeah, I think this is another easy one which you can gain a lot of points in, because achieving gold, which is 8 events in 8 months, I think you've all pretty much managed that one by now. So yeah, that's the social side of the form.
Cool. Engagement. So yeah, loads of different things here, loads of bits of criteria. And you have to check these all off to be able to get the bronze, silver or gold. If you didn't hold an online welcome event, so one of the virtual stalls that we did last week, and you can still hold them now, you just have to obviously provide this in the evidence section later on as you get down into making the application, which is really simple. You can create an event through the What's On page for your virtual stall and then screenshot you know, the listing on there. So that's really simple to do. Yeah, things like that. So the virtual stalls, they can happen anytime. It's not just in the designated week. So feel free to run those things at any point during any term, really. So obviously there's some stuff on there for Rebel as well. For those of you that don't know what Rebel is, it's our on-campus media outlet, I guess you could say, that is located at the back of the Silbrad Centre. It's a really, really cool place, and it does some really, really cool stuff. I don't know whether Ray wants to sort of talk a little bit about it at all, sort of, you know, plug it a little bit.
I can do, but we've also got some Rebel heads in the meeting at the moment who may wish or may not wish to talk. And if you want to talk, just start talking. If not, I will start.
I can if you want. Hi everyone, I'm Tom Lady, head of editorial. So we handle all the articles and so on. I know Daniela from videos on this call as well. For any society who's looking to get involved with Rebel, you could definitely at least drop us an email, rebel@essex.ac.uk, or you can visit our website where there's memberships and so on, and so many opportunities from video to radio, hopefully soon, to articles and so on. And to my knowledge, there's standards and like points if you work with Rebel. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yep. So you don't, not only do you get like a little promotion for your society, you also get points. So we perfectly understand that you can come to us for that incentive as well.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah. But yeah, so as Tom said, you know, there's a link on here as well that you can click to go across to Rebel, the website, and have a look, see what they're got coming up, or see what you can get involved in. And it also says, yeah, so if you're struggling to think of ways that you can engage with student communities, then you know, 2 great people to go to would be Adrian and Alexandru, who are 2 of our VP officers, the sabbatical officers for Students' Union. Obviously VP in community and engagement, and VP international. So that's, you know, 2 broad groups that will have events going on all the time, and you can go to them to get involved in different things. So providing evidence, as I said earlier, sometimes you'll have to provide certain bits of evidence for things. So yeah, so like the proof of executive committee meetings and proof of an active social media account, you know, those things, it would be good if you can provide some evidence. So screenshots or sending through documents to us, they're always a great thing. Like 2 great examples of things you can do that are really simple and really easy. If you could send it all in a zip file, that would be best, because then it'll have it all in one place. Yeah, and you might need to try to send the folder through WeTransfer, because Outlook has a certain limit on file sizes. So depending on how big your application is and how much evidence you've got, you might want to send it through WeTransfer. And if you could title the folder that you send through with whatever your society or club name is, that would just make it really easy for us to find it later on. And if you can make subfolders within them, so executive committee evidence, and then another one that's got social events evidence, that kind of thing. We go through an absolute ton of criteria and evidence every single year, and we usually have a front runner that helps us with this sort of thing. But obviously this year is a little bit different, and we don't have any extra staff at the moment in terms of going through criteria and through evidence. So if things are just sort of set out as clear and as simple as possible, that would just be great, just because it would help us out a lot. But as I said, a bit contradictory to kind of not having a lot of time. The more evidence, the better. Less chance of us then emailing you later on to say, you put this down in your application, but we don't see anything for it. You know, can you send through another thing? So just sort of send almost what you think is maybe too much. You know, in this instance, there is no too much. Just send through whatever you've got, and it will be less chance of us bugging you later on down the line. Yes, so other things to note, some of you may or may not know this, your application can also include things from term 3 of the 2019-20 academic year. That's because some of you may have taken over, obviously, as execs at that point. Some of you have earlier handovers than others, so some of you may have taken over last August, but some of you may have taken over last April. It's sort of up to your societies how you run those kind of things. Handovers are kind of up to you. But seeing as at least you will have already all been in a period of shadowing other exec members, even if you didn't take over fully straight away, we allow you to include things from that period of time. Deadline to submit the form is Monday the 19th of April at 10 AM, so that includes sending all your evidence through as well. If we come back to you after that point and say, oh, have you got a bit of evidence from this, then that should be okay. But like I said, if you can try and get through everything all at one point, that would be really great. From the numerous amount of meetings we've already had, I'm sure you know that anything club related goes to blades@essex.ac.uk, and then societies will go to SU Socks. So that 19th of April deadline is just to ensure that your club or your society standard will get recognised at whatever awards ceremony we'll have this year. We have no idea what it's going to look like yet, but that deadline is to make sure that you get recognised at that point. It won't stop you from being able to submit your applications at a later point. It just means that your standard won't be granted at this award ceremony. And it's really nice to have it at the award ceremony to sort of be included with everyone else as well. So, but that's completely up to your society. If you feel that your society or your club isn't ready at that point, then that is totally fine, and you can get it in at a later point.
Yeah, so the elections, we are going to move them back slightly this year, just because we know it's been a very different year. So they'll come up later this term, I guess, and they'll be for all your exec positions. So if anyone you think is interested already, then I'd probably start talking to them, give them more information about the roles for when it does come up. But just to update you, that will be slightly later, just so it gives everyone a bit more time in your roles. And then, yeah, some other things that are coming up is the SU leadership race, which is for sabbatical roles, and the student community officers for next year. So you can find out more at the website. And then if you're looking for more cultural support, Ray, do you want to speak on this bit?
Yeah, so we are currently working on a project at the moment, just at the very beginning of it, in which we want to, we've kind of recognised the fact that we are usually like a world in one place university, where we get to celebrate lots of different cultures that we have, and it's the world in one place. Unfortunately, we've kind of turned that in on itself right now, and our students are all over the world rather than in one place. And I think we're really missing that. That kind of sense of our international identity. And so we've had like some feedback from students that they've also felt that way. And so we're starting a project. I've literally had a meeting about it this morning. That's the first proper meeting about it, in which we want to, in the first instance, reach out to our cultural societies, but also our international students as well, to ask them about are there any events that you've got planning, like that you're planning that's coming up, such as like national days or just days in general that are important to your culture, that the SU could help support by in some way or another, whether that is help provide a small pot of funding to kind of escalate that project to a bigger thing, or just help you organize it, or help with marketing, or whatever, really. So that's kind of like the one side on that sense. And then if we don't have a whole lot of societies that really do want to do that, because we understand this is a difficult year for everyone and some are wanting to engage more than others, and we've definitely seen a drop in some of our kind of memberships from our cultural societies, I think, as a result of being all over the world right now. We're also looking at kind of hosting like a series of events or showcases of different cultures as well. And so it might be that you just got an idea but you don't want to be heavily involved in it. We want to be able to kind of participate and showcase that as well. So we do have some ideas, but if anyone in the room at the moment is from a cultural society, or for, you know, they've got an international lot of international members or anything that want to celebrate a specific holiday or your culture in general, and you've got any ideas, you can either take the floor at the moment, and I'd love to hear any feedback that you guys have on ideas. Alternatively, there's going to be a type form sent out by Friday, which will just be asking essentially what I've just gone over, whether or not you've got an idea of something that we could help either support your society with, or you know, you want to feed into us about your own culture that we can help celebrate as a wider university, because I think it's an unfortunate result of part of this year that we've kind of lost that part of who we are. So we really want to help support on that. So if you have any ideas and you want to take the floor now, just to kind of give that, we can take notes of them and then feed that back into it, because it's really important to us that this is, you know, relevant to the student body and what you guys actually want it to be, rather than what we think it should look like. And if you don't, then that's also fine, and we'll send out a message by the end of the week. Okay, cool. So that's fine. We'll probably be around at the very end of this call. So if anyone does have any comments, you can either pop it in the chat or just talk to us afterwards.
Sorry, I was just trying to unmute myself. I'm the Vice President for the East African Society. One of the things that we've been talking a lot about trying to get to do is languages and teaching the languages that we speak culturally, and trying to do classes to see if people would be interested in any of that kind of stuff. But us teaching it would be quite a lot to run it completely by ourselves. We're happy, we have a lot of native speakers, we're really happy to help out with that, but running it completely by ourselves online at the moment, we were a bit put off by the whole thing. So that's the only thing that I would contribute at the moment.
No, that's great. We can that's a good idea, and I think we can have a look into ways that we can potentially outsource that or find other opportunities within the university to help support with that potentially. What I would say is we're going to make a note of that now, so I will get in touch with the East African Society about this, and then we can kind of go from there and see what maybe next steps we can take to help support with that.
Cheers, thanks.
So yeah, just to finish off from me before we get to questions, I just want to say that I'm a big fan of the awards, and I know that they mean a lot to clubs and societies. I want to support you all the best way I can in not just achieving these, but in any support or advice that you need throughout. So I've started going through a few of them, but having one-to-ones with clubs and societies about anything really that you guys want to talk about, or any questions you've got and how I can best support you, but also things that link into obviously the standards, that covers a broad area. So please email me at VP Experience if you want to have one of these meetings. It's just half an hour and the agenda is whatever you guys want to talk about. But I know this has been a really challenging year, and it's been a massive shame that some of the amazing annual events that societies put on, and just you know, let's just say sport in general hasn't been able to happen, though I still believe many of you will be able to get your awards, and I want to support you the best way you can, because I know as exec it's a tough job, and you've all done great to be an exec in a pandemic. So anything I can do to support you, please email me and I'll do my best to fit it in as soon as. But yeah, that's everything from me. And then any questions you've got now?